Well, tensions are rising here in New York City as a manhunt is underway for suspects in another police shooting. 2 cops wounded while responding to a robbery last night. They were part of a group of 5 plainclothes officers at the scene. There's no evidence these police were specifically targeted. However, it is a painful reminder of just 2 weeks ago when 2 officers were shot to death execution style while sitting in their patrol car. Now Mayor Bill de Blasio is speaking for the first time about officers turning their backs on him at the funerals of those officers.
Those individuals who took certain actions these last week, or last 2 weeks really, they were disrespectful to the families involved. That's the bottom line. They were disrespectful to the families who had lost their loved one. And I can't understand why anyone would do such a thing in a context like that.
Meanwhile, arrests in the city are reportedly way down for the 2nd week in a row. Officers arresting less than half as many people as they did 1 year ago and writing 90% fewer summonses. It has some wondering if the rift with the mayor could be a threat to public safety. Bo, I'm starting to get really worried about this, and look what's happening with the summonses and whatnot. What can Bill de Blasio do at this point, and why would he make a comment like that? Why would he choose to comment on police officers turning their backs on him in that way? Does he not realize that doesn't help matters?
You know, he disgusts me. I call him Mayor Big Bird because he's just like the guy from Sesame Street, a big bird. Oh. He has an idea that this police department needs retraining. That's the first thing. This is the most professional police department in the world. There's over 25 million interactions between police and civilian. Out of 25 million interactions, last year there was 5,500 civilian complaints people made against cops. That's 0.2% is the complaints against cops. Another fact is there was 81 shootings in the course of 1 year. That means 1 out of 330,000 chances of a cop being involved in a shooting. This is with guys with knives. These are taking action. When this mayor degrades the police department the way they are, and I talk to cops every day, that turning in the back, first I thought it was bad idea, but now I'm thinking about talking to more cops. They didn't turn their back on that officer, that hero officer, Lou, that was being buried. They turned their back on Big Bird to show him you don't give any support to the New York City Police Department retraining. He should go back to his communist school and get new communist training. This police department is the best in the world. People come to us to learn and to make these cops go through retraining, because this idiot mayor here, this disgusts all the cops out there, what I speak to, and it's a bad atmosphere out there. Right now you had that guy with that big gun that shot 2 of our officers last night. Yeah, because this mayor came into office against stop and frisk. He wanted to take on the police department. Now he's taking on. What I fear is there's going to be a resurgence of crime in New York. Certainly guns are on the upswing. We don't know about it because no one's out there. Quality of life crimes are down. I think they did 300 summonses in the last month against 8,000 last year. Everything is going down. We're going to have a real problem in New York, and it's stirring up, and I can guarantee, as sure as I'm sitting on this couch, a lot of people don't know, 31 people killed from December 8th till yesterday. 31 people were killed in New York City. They want to throw these statistics around. This is a volcano ready to pop. And you know what? Let our cops do their job. Let Bill Bratton run the police department. Big Bird, go back to Gracie Mansion and do whatever you do behind those big high walls that you built there. I don't know what he does there, but he does something.
We know he sleeps in every day. He can't get out of bed. I mean, he's lazy.
Did you see how tired he looked last night?
He's arrogant, and he's a hypocrite. I don't know why he's tired, Bo, because the guy can't seem to get out of bed.
It's certain things you do, you know, certain things you do, and when I'm not lazy, I'm just so tired.
Oh, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
He's also a hypocrite, Dietl, because you remember protesters, when they took to the streets of New York, they were chanting NYPD, KKK. And how did Mayor de Blasio react just 2 weeks ago? He stood up and he lectured police on the First Amendment, that the protesters had the right to say KKK and NYPD. Isn't this interesting now that the police force is exercising their First Amendment right? But Bill de Blasio, and I think you're being too kind by comparing him to Big Bird, because I like Big Bird. Bill de Blasio is getting a taste of his own First Amendment medicine. And Bo, I have a question for you. Isn't this what de Blasio wanted, though? He didn't want proactive policing. He wanted reactive policing. So aren't the cops just waiting for the 911 calls to come in?
He wanted this division. And if anything, those cops were there respecting that officer at his funeral. And they had a right. They didn't turn it back on the officer. They turned it back on this creep that is destroying this police department. I'm from this police department. Let Bill Bratton run the police department. You go run around in circles somewhere else.